Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing one of the most dominant runs ever in competitive Pokemon Go history. Today, I tell the story of LNDS and his incredible 18-0 unbeaten sweep at the Curitiba Regional Championships in Brazil. The date, September 23rd, 2023. The location is Curitiba, Brazil. This is one of the first regional championships of the 2024 competitive season. The 2023 World Championships were held the month prior, with the meta being dominated by Medicham. Medicham was on over 85% of the teams at Worlds, so after the World Championships, it did receive a nerf going into the next competitive season. Psychic, its charge move, had its base power reduced. Unfortunately, this was not enough of a nerf to discourage Medicham usage. Rather, most competitors, like LNDS ended up switching out Psychic for Dynamic Punch. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and let's take a look at Pokemon Go history as LNDS goes 18-0 in Curitiba. Hargef's first streamed match of the day is actually against one of his teammates, LNDS Kanan. And as we see, their team building is quite similar. Hargef is running Umbreon, Medicham, and Serperior, same as Kanan, but where they differ is in the final three Pokemon. Hargef has Swampert instead of Kanan's Lantern. For his flyer, he has Pelipper instead of Gligar, and where Kanan has Lickitung, Hargef has opted for a Shadow, Powder Snow, Alolan Sandslash. The battlers are locked in for game number 1, and it's a good lead for Hargef as he leads his Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash against Lickitung. This matchup is one of the reasons why Powder Snow was so deadly on Alolan Sandslash in this format. Not only did it turn the Lickitung matchup to a win, but it gave you incredible fast move pressure against Pokemon like Gligar and Serperior as well. Ice Punch connects, the Drill Run follows shortly thereafter on charge attack priority. Lickitung will return fire with the Power Whip, Alolan Sandslash can look to farm down, but Medicham says no. Quick switch in by Kanan, and we're going to see Hargef respond with Pelipper. This is a situation where having Psychic would be nicest to Medicham, but due to the nerf, a lot of people running Ice Punch and Dynamic. And Ice Punch just doesn't have the same closing power as the Psychic does. The Hurricane does get shielded, but it's Pelipper with the upper hand, winning charge attack priority as it makes it to a Weather Ball. The Weather Ball will not KO, but that's honestly good for Hargef. Hargef doesn't want switch advantage. Instead, he would much rather have an energy lead on Serperior. If you take a look across Kanan's team only has one Grass Resist. It's his own Serperior, which would be taking substantial damage from Aerial Ace. So Hargef, with a Serperior up energy, is in a terrific position. It's Umbreon as the final Pokemon. Umbreon correctly shields up the Frenzy Plant, but now the Umbreon is down 2 shields to 0, and Serperior can continue to farm. Serperior finally uses the first shield of the match. Serperior now going to return fire with the Frenzy Plant. No shields remaining for Kanan, so this Frenzy Plant is guaranteed to connect. Umbreon, extremely bulky. We see a simultaneous switch out, both trainers attempting a potential catch. Body Slam is going to KO, but again, the farm on Serperior. Energy on this Pokemon just so deadly in this matchup. Frenzy Plant will not quite KO, but all Serperior needs is to make it to an Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace knocks out the Umbreon, and that's a Game 1 win for Hargef. Very neutral leads in game number 2, Umbreon for Hargef, and the Serperior from LNDS Kanan. This is a matchup of bulk, both Pokemon not known for their damage output, but both are extremely bulky. It's going to be a race to see who can get to 3 charge attacks, as 2 Foul Plays will not KO the Serperior, and 2 Frenzy Plants will not KO the Umbreon. Umbreon going for Foul Play number 2. Kanan knows he does not have to shield this, so he is going to let that go, and we do see Hargef brought his own Serperior in the back after it was absolutely clutch for him in game number 1. And it's Hargef applying the first pressure of the match, making it to a 3rd Foul Play. The no shield by Kanan. In comes Umbreon, and the quick switch out by Hargef. He did not want to give Kanan any energy advantage, so he aggressively switches in the Serperior. Serperior going to be hit with the Foul Play. And it almost feels like we're looking at a little bit of a mirror here. We see this lead to start with, and now in the back, with each trainer having the other Pokemon this time. Going to be firing off another Frenzy Plant at the Umbreon. Umbreon is going to no-shield this one. Umbreon has a massive amount of energy, Serperior still with 2 shields to hide behind. One foul play not going to KO, Serperior making it into another Frenzy Plant, and Serperior 2 games in a row putting in massive work for Hargef. In the back is Lickitung, and Medicham enters the field of play. And this Medicham is running Dynamic Punch, which is bad news for the Lickitung. The Body Slam will connect. We actually see a bait here by the Medicham, baiting with the Ice Punch, hoping for the shield, and getting the shield from that Lickitung. Lickitung makes the Body Slam. Finally, the first shield of the match used by Hargef. He's going to be able to make the Dynamic Punch, and that's going to be good night for the Lickitung. Dynamic Punch KOs the Lickitung. All that's left in the back is the low health Umbreon, and that's a 2-0 victory, and Hargef advances to the next round of the tournament. His next round on stream was going up against a formidable competitor, Marto Galde. Marto was running a double ice strategy with Frostlass and Shadow Alolan Sandslash, pairing that up with a Shadow Venusaur, Lantern, Lickitung, and of course the staple of this format, his own Medicham. The battlers are locked in for game number 1, and it's a good lead for Hargef as he leads the Umbreon against the Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash for Marto. This is a win for Umbreon just due to the fact that Umbreon is able to consistently outbulk the Alolan Sandslash, even though Powder Snow does help the Sandslash make this a closer matchup. But as well, the Serperior in the back looks amazing for Hargef, as once that Alolan Sandslash is out of the way, even if the Serperior gets stuck onto something like Frostlash, Neutral Frenzy Plant is still going to hit for a massive amount of damage there. Foul Play will connect, Alolan Sandslash does not get the move, and it gets farmed down. In comes Medicham, we see an aggressive save switch into Serperior, Hargef understanding that this is such a safe Pokemon for him to send in. The Aerial Ace will hit for super effective damage, Medicham farming up quite a bit of energy and will be firing off the Ice Punch. That's no shielded by the Serperior, farming up even more energy in the back. It's the Frostlass, so Marto running ABA Ice. The bait by Serperior going for the Aerial Ace, getting the shield, and making the Frenzy Plant. What a clutch bait by Hargef. Hargef makes the Frenzy Plant. That connects, dealing substantial damage. And he has the Swampert lurking in the back. But first, he's going to send out the Umbreon to force Frostlass's energy, and then he's going to try and sweep with a Swampert and 2 shields. Swampert entering the field of play, going to commit an early shield and just look to get as much energy as it possibly can. Swampert looking for the farm down. We see the switch out by Marto into the Medicham, but this Swampert just has so much energy. The Hydro Cannon will be shielded, but there's more where that came from. Hydro Cannon number 2 fired at the Medicham. Medicham cannot survive, and Frostlass gets Mudshot down, and Hargef wins game 1. In game 2, a good lead for Hargef as well, leading Serperior into the Medicham. Serperior has super effective damage available with the Aerial Ace, but Frenzy Plant does do more overall damage due to it getting same type attack bonus and being the much stronger move. So the Frenzy Plant will connect, Medicham returning fire with the Ice Punch. Serperior now going to be firing off the Aerial Ace, as with the Vine Whips, a Frenzy Plant plus an Aerial Ace will be able to KO. Grabbing a shield from the opponent, and now Hargef has to decide how much does he want switch. He doesn't want it. He lets it go, and he sends in Umbreon. Umbreon farming up energy, going to commit the shield, as this could be a Dynamic Punch, and it is, getting the shield call right. Umbreon over farming to 100 energy, can't go any higher than that, and going to be able to pick up the knockout with the Foul Play. Marto, the question will be, what does he send in here? He brings in the Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash. This is not an amazing response to Umbreon. We're going to see a switch out now into Venusaur, and it all goes wrong for Marto in the blink of an eye. Venusaur hits for massive damage with Frenzy Plant, but unfortunately, even with both Pokemon being Shadow, the Sandslash can survive due to resisting that damage. Ice Punch picks up the KO, and now it's a battle of Sandslash, but both are on Powder Snow, which means you basically can't farm down Hargef. Marto realizes this, he no shields, and again that's a 2-0 win. His final opponent of day number 1 is Mystic Chansey. The winner of this match locks in their spot in Top Cut in day number 2. Mystic is running Gligar, Lantern, Lickitung, Medicham, Registeel, and Serperior. The leads are set for game 1, and it's a dominant lead for Hargef as he leads Serperior into Lantern. The switch out by Mystic Chansey into Lickitung, but this is not a winning matchup for Lickitung, especially down a turn. That makes it even more uncomfortable. We're going to see Mystic Chansey committing an early shield. He needs to try and get damage onto this Serperior. Hargef more than happy to stay in because he knows that this is a winning matchup for him. So if he can potentially look to win switch and then align Medicham onto the Lantern later, he's still in a good spot. He just absolutely has to keep Pelipper away from the Lantern at all costs. Serperior firing off yet another Frenzy Plant. This will knock out the Lickitung unless we see the shield from Mystic. Mystic lets it go and down goes Lickitung. Mystic is forced to bring in the third here. He cannot send in Lantern. It's going to be his own Serperior, and this is looking very good for Hargef. Hargef is going to be able to put his Pelipper onto the Serperior of Mystic and Medicham onto the Lantern. No shield. He's more than happy to let this go. Serperior did its job. In comes Pelipper. Pelipper going to be hit with the charge attack from Serperior. Again, the no shield. Frenzy Plant will do a lot. The switch to the Lantern, and it's a Water Gun Lantern for Mystic Chansey. Water Gun Lantern still very uncomfortable for the Pelipper because Pelipper's energy is completely walled. Dynamic Punch shielded up as Mystic Chansey does get the shield call correct. The Thunderbolt from the Lantern will connect, and that does a lot of damage to the Medicham. These water guns are adding up. Medicham is able to make the Dynamic Punch. This Dynamic Punch will not be enough to KO, but it is going to be enough to get the Lantern low and get the counter down after one additional fast move. In comes Serperior, but Medicham on a rampage, making it to the Ice Punch. Ice Punch KOs Serperior, and that's a 1-0 lead for Hargef. For game 2, he leads Medicham into Lickitung. The predictions by Hargef are just incredible, consistently predicting which 3 his opponent are going to be able to bring. My goodness. The Body Slam will connect from the Lickitung. Hargef this time not gonna bait, full sending Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch does get shielded by the Lickitung, and he save switches into Serperior. Even in a matchup where Registeel could be a potential counter swap into a Serperior safe switch, Serperior just still feels incredibly flexible, tanking the Body Slam, full sending the Frenzy, and knocking out that Lickitung. In comes Medicham, and oh my goodness, Medicham not in a terrific spot here. We're going to see the Aerial Ace fired off. Aerial Ace is going to connect. Medicham throwing the Ice Punch right before Serperior makes it to the Aerial Ace. The shield by Serperior. Serperior intentionally over-farming and playing to the CMP tie. This will deny Mystic Chansey the ability to farm down unless they undercharge. That's a beautiful over-farm there by Hargef. Ice Punch picks up the KO, and now with the Medicham, you can throw 5 counters and go for the Ice Punch. Just a masterclass in energy management. Ice Punch picks up the KO in the back. It's Registeel, and this is why Dynamic Punch was so deadly at this tournament. It offered so much damage into these Lickitungs and into these Registeels. In comes the Umbreon. Normally, Registeel is a nightmare for Umbreon, as Focus Blast can hit for massive damage, but at this health disparity, Umbreon gets to flip the script. Umbreon, one debuff foul play will not KO, but there's another one already loaded and ready to go, and this secures the 2-0 victory, and Hargef moves into day 2 of the tournament undefeated. In day 2, Hargef's opponent on the winner's side of the bracket was Andre Garavello, a trainer running a very unique team centered around a double counter strategy with Defense Deoxys and Obstagoon. Rounding out the rest of the team, Andre was running a Frostlass, a Swampert, a non-Shadow Venusaur, and his own Umbreon. And speaking of Umbreon, in game number 1, it was Umbreon for Hargef versus the Umbreon for Andre. And this matchup is a very slow burn. Neither Pokemon able to inflict a lot of damage here because the Snarls are resisted, it's a very low damage move, and Last Resort is really not going to do a lot. So for both of these trainers, this is a way to neutralize the opponent's Umbreon's energy, but it does mean that their own Umbreon's energy is basically useless. Hargef going to farm up to 100 energy and not throw his move. Instead, he's going to tank that Last Resort and send in Serperior. Serperior unanswered by Andre, as Serperior again proves to be extremely flexible in this format. Accidentally bringing up the game booster there, but thankfully able to exit out and continue the match. Another foul play by the Umbreon. Serperior returning fire with the Frenzy Plant. This will not be enough to knock out. Serperior outputting some damage, but the Umbreon for Andre, he's getting incredible value out of it as he makes yet another foul play. Serperior barely hanging on. Serperior getting itself as low as possible before firing off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace no shielded by Andre. He's letting the Umbreon go, sending in defense Deoxys. There's a lot of energy on the Umbreon. Does Hargef decide to use it here? He does have the Medicham. He sends Medicham into Deoxys, and this is a massive surprise. Due to Medicham's popularity, Defense Deoxys did start to rise in usage, just purely based on the fact that it's a counter resist that is also going to be resisting either Psychic or Dynamic Punch. We're going to see a Rock Slide followed by the Psycho Boost in the back. It's the Frostlass for Andre, and Hargef made the perfect read. He saved all that energy on the Umbreon, saying it will be more useful, not against the Deoxys, not against Andre's own Umbreon, but the final Pokemon, and that gamble is exactly what he needed, as now this Frostlass gets completely overwhelmed by Umbreon's energy. Umbreon already close to 2 more foul plays, continuing to apply the pressure. Andre is going to commit the shield. Frostlass firing off another avalanche, but Umbreon can confidently expend the final shield. There's a switch out by the opponent into the Deoxys, but this Umbreon energy just goes everywhere. The foul play connects. In comes the Medicham. Medicham has back-to-back Ice Punches loaded. First Ice Punch gets the Deoxys low, throwing 1 additional counter and getting off another Ice Punch. And this will allow Medicham to be able to make it to a move versus the Frostlass. The match timer counts down as Medicham makes the Ice Punch, knocking out the Frostlass and taking the win as the clock hits 0. Game number 2, you've got to be kidding me. Same leads as last game. Umbreon versus Umbreon. Both trainers understanding just how valuable Umbreon is as a setup mon. We do see an adjustment from Hargef. Hargef actually benching the Serperior and instead choosing to bring Pelipper. Pelipper, a very strong pick, as it does provide some nice neutral play against quite a lot of Andre's team, and it also has the benefit of completely walling Swampert. Last Resort after Last Resort exchanged by the Umbreons. If the Umbreons stay in this matchup for longer this game, match timer could again become a factor. And it looks like that's what Hargef is perfectly fine with doing, staying in this matchup, this time choosing to play it out since he did not bring his Serperior. And now we do see the switch out at long last. In comes the Pelipper, and Pelipper going to be hit with the foul play from the Umbreon. Pelipper continues to farm, needs a Hurricane if it wants to be able to knock out, and going for the Hurricane now. Hurricane will pick up the KO onto the Umbreon, and Umbreon lets it through. What does Andre have in the back? He has lost the Umbreon. What is he going to be sending in here? In comes Defense Deoxys, and Deoxys' moveset is known. We do know that it is running Rock Slide as well as Psycho Boost. The Weather Ball bait, Deoxys with the no shield, and Deoxys firing off energy. The shield by Pelipper. It is going to be the Rock Slide from the Deoxys. Pelipper farming up, and Pelipper playing to the CMP tie here as it connects with the Hurricane. The Hurricane lands, picking up the KO. In the back, it's Frostlass again, and Hargef, a master at team reading, able to predict that the Umbreon's energy would be useful once again, and again the Frostlass is in serious trouble. Frostlass goes for the Avalanche. That does get shielded. Another foul play fired off by this Umbreon. Umbreon grabbing the final shield, but it's just not enough for the Frostlass. Frostlass runs out of shields. It's getting hit with a foul play. That does significant damage. Umbreon gets a last-second foul play, forcing Andre's energy. Andre with perfect energy awareness, but the Umbreon refusing to get KO'd. In comes Medicham, and the catch to seal it. A devastating catch of the Shadow Ball onto the Pelipper. Dominance by Hargef as he advances to Winners Finals. In Grand Finals, his opponent is XHGP, running a team with Gligar, Lantern, Lickitung, Medicham Serperior, and of course, Umbreon. Hargef led Umbreon 2 games in a row last set, but he switches it up this time, leading Medicham into Lantern. This is a very neutral matchup across the board. Typically, you would prefer to be the Medicham. Medicham is going to strike first with Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch is going to hit for massive damage to the Lantern. Lantern firing off its energy. Medicham commits the shield, and it is going to be the Thunderbolt. Medicham looking to farm up quite a lot of energy. We see a switch out by XHGP into his own Medicham, and this is a bit of a tricky situation for Hargef, as Hargef is double weak to counter in the back. XHGP is making the interesting choice of still running Psychic. The old move on Medicham that did actually get nerfed, we see the switch into the Umbreon, trying to catch the Psychic. Was the catch successful? Yes, it was, but unfortunately, Disaster Strikes. Psychic has a very low chance of debuffing defense, and it just did debuff the defense of the Umbreon. Umbreon looking to farm up and fire off the foul play, looking to get this Medicham very low. Medicham commits the shield, Umbreon makes it to another foul play, and this should come very close to knocking out. We see the double shield by the Medicham. Medicham looking for the full counter down and getting the full counter down. So XHGP able to get massive value out of his Medicham in the mid game. We see the switch into his own Medicham here by Hargef. Hargef going to let this through. It is just going to be the Ice Punch. He makes it to the Ice Punch of his own, but the switch, the catch onto the Lantern. Lantern does not survive, but this way XHGP is able to preserve his Medicham. In the back is Lickitung, and we're going to see the switch by Hargef into his Powder Snow, Shadow, Alolan Sandslash. Sandslash not only needs to win this matchup, but needs to try and win this matchup with residual energy, so that way it's going to be able to threaten the Medicham for XHGP that he was able to save. The Drill Run is going to connect. Hargef is going to be using the shield, and now he just has to Powder Snow this into a range where he can pick up the knockout with the Drill Run. So he is going to farm up. That's honestly Ice Punch range. He gets the double up here. Ice Punch is going to be able to knock out the Lickitung. In comes the Medicham. XHGP doing what he can in game number 1, but it's not enough as game 1 goes to Hargef. A switch in the strategy for Hargef, now leading Swampert in game number 2 versus the Medicham for XHGP. Hargef farming up to the Earthquake, going to bait with the Hydro Cannon, and this is a charge attack priority tie. The Hydro Cannon connects. Is this the Psychic? Is this the Ice Punch? Committing the shield, and it's the Ice Punch from the Medicham. The safe switch to Lickitung. There's a hard punish for the Lickitung in the back, and its name is Umbreon. Banking 2 Hydro Cannons, sending in the Umbreon, and Umbreon has a completely dominant matchup here. Due to the Dark typing, it means that the Licks just do absolutely nothing in this matchup. We're going to see Lickitung. Looks like Lickitung going to be connecting with another Body Slam, but Umbreon just does not care. Down a shield, still in a commanding position. Again, accidentally bringing up that game booster menu. The thing is, at these regional championships, is the phones are provided. So people aren't using devices that they're used to, and on Android phones, it's really easy to accidentally hit that button and have the game booster pop up. I have an Android phone, I do it myself quite a bit, and it is very frustrating when it pops up mid-battle. The foul play is going to be getting that Lickitung very low. Lickitung going to be firing off another Body Slam. Body Slam not going to be enough to KO. The switch to the Medicham and an immediate switch back to Swampert. So much energy available. The Hydro Cannon does get shielded, but the Swampert immediately with another Hydro ready to go. Putting so much pressure on the Medicham, forcing the final shield, and it is charge attack priority. Hargef choosing to let this through. It is going to be the Ice Punch. Swampert is getting countered down, and he does have his own Medicham in the back. Opponent does have Psychic, which is a lot better for the mirror, so now Hargef has a choice to make. Does he shield? He shields, he gets it right. It is going to be the Psychic. Can he get the counter down? An attempted catch by XHGP. He does not get the catch. He sends back in the Medicham. Whatever's in back is not a fan of energy from Medicham. Is it the Umbreon? Yes, it is. And this is where the choice to run Dynamic Punch looms large. Dynamic Punch, massive damage onto the Umbreon, and there's already another one ready as well. Dynamic Punch number 2 will connect. Medicham gets the counter down, and Hargef is 1 win away from Grand Finals. These Grand Finals are best of 5, which means the first to 3 will advance. Hargef up 2-0, and he goes back to his trusty Umbreon lead, and XHGP runs Umbreon lead as well. Hargef, we've seen this before. He likes to play this out for a bit, bank a bunch of energy on the Umbreon, and then potentially look to switch out. He does have his Medicham and his Alolan Sandslash lurking in the back. Firing off Last Resort after Last Resort. Opponent goes for the Last Resort, and again, Hargef is never going to be shielding in this matchup. The energy is just so inefficiently used that there's not really a reason to shield. So he's going to farm up past 100 energy, and this should be where he looks to pivot out. He wants to save that energy, and there's the pivot out right on cue into the Medicham. XHGP sends in his own Medicham because, since he is Psychic, he is typically able to win the mirror. Going to be firing off the Ice Punch. The Ice Punch is going to connect, doing some pretty solid damage, and now XHGP gets the return of fire with the Psychic, and we see the damage difference there. One thing to note is that there are particular Medicham IVs, at least at the time, that were called Medicham Slayer, where you would run a higher attack and higher defense Medicham to try and get a counter breakpoint and bulk point versus your opponent. So that way, even if you weren't necessarily running the ideal Medicham moveset for the situation, you could still do pretty well in that matchup. The foul play will pick up the KO. In the back, it's Superior, and Hargef again with the perfect read, saying he's bringing the Superior, bringing the Sandslash, and Sandslash is ready to dominate. Sandslash farming up, going for this Ice Punch. We see the switch out into the Umbreon. Umbreon able to absorb that energy, but honestly, getting rid of this Umbreon is very valuable for Hargef as well. We do see the shield by XHGP, and now Hargef going to be shielding back. Umbreon just firing off its move right away. We're going to see a CMP tie by the Sandslash, and that is just poetry in motion there, forcing the final shield. Hargef now just going to let this go. He's going to try and win it with the Umbreon. In comes the Umbreon. Umbreon gets to farm down. He has so much energy. He's going for the Last Resort. It does incrementally more damage versus the Superior. The Last Resort will connect into the foul play after throwing one more Snarl. I believe he has the energy for the Last Resort here as well, but he's just going for the foul play, securing the 3-0 victory, and he advances to Grand Finals. XHGP falls to the Losers Finals, where he was able to win and earn a rematch versus Hargef. We've got mirror leads once again in Game 1 of the Grand Finals, Superior versus Superior. Hargef also bringing with him the Umbreon and that Shadow Alolan Sandslash that was so key to him winning that Game 3 and securing the sweep in the Winners Finals. Superior versus Superior, fortunately a matchup that goes a lot faster than Umbreon versus Umbreon, as the super effective Aerial Aces will add up quite a bit. We see a switch out and a catch by Hargef. Again, the predictions on point throughout this series, and now we have the Umbreon battle. The Umbreons are back. They're both switch locked. They cannot escape. Oh my goodness. And that was one of the things about this meta, is it was a fairly condensed meta, so there was a lot of Pokemon that saw a lot of repeat play. So, as Pokemon like Gligar began to rise to prominence, you did see a lot of the same stuff. So we have Superior mirror into an Umbreon mirror. XHGP does not have a Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash, which means it cannot be a mirror in the back. Taking a look across the teams, if it's Gligar or if it's Lickitung, that definitely favors Hargef. If it's Medicham, things could get quite difficult. Last Resort's being traded by the Umbreons. XHGP able to win charge attack priority over Hargef. Hargef choosing just to let this through. It's just a foul play and it does not KO. Able to withstand that damage. Fire off the Last Resort. Last Resort gets the Umbreon low. He switches into Superior and XHGP switches back into his own. Aerial Ace will not KO either, but Hargef has a nice energy advantage here because he was able to catch earlier, able to force a shield with the Aerial Ace, and now the question is, does Hargef trust in the A-Slash? He says no, he's committing the shield, will need to fire off the Aerial Ace to pick up the KO. Most things in the back would be okay. Medicham would be devastating. It all comes down to this, what is that final Pokemon going to be? And it's the Medicham, and this is very bad. The opponent tries to go for the catch, they're unsuccessful, and that just gives Superior farm. Superior going for the Aerial Ace, it gets shielded. Superior now makes the Frenzy Plant. There's no way there's a win con in this match. Medicham as the third with the Alolan Sandslash in the back should mean game over, but Alolan Sandslash is flipping the script. Sandslash with the shield to protect itself is going to be able to make it to the Ice Punch, and Ice Punch will deliver the knockout blow to Medicham. The Pokemon double weak to fighting, takes down the fighter, and that's 1-0 Hargef. Decent lead for Hargef in the next match. Serperior versus the Medicham. A lot better than that Medicham going anywhere near that Alolan Sandslash. And speaking of, Hargef benching the Sandslash in this game too, instead bringing Umbreon and bringing that Pelipper back. Firing off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace no shielded by the Medicham. Serperior going for Aerial Ace number 2. This will not be enough to KO the Medicham, but the threat of a Frenzy Plant is enough to threaten a shield. Medicham forced to fire off energy. Ice Punch picks up the KO, but now in comes Pelipper. Pelipper, as long as there's not a Lantern in the back, has quite a lot of play. Pelipper is going to play to the CMP tie, denying Medicham the ability to fire off any energy. And it's not the Lantern. The Lantern has sufficiently been scared off by the Serperior. We're going to see an attempted catch onto the Umbreon, and we're back in an Umbreon mirror once again. The last resort will connect. It's Serperior in the back, and this endgame heavily favors Hargef. Hargef is up a shield, has so much stored energy on the Pelipper, and he was able to force XHGP to fire off a last resort, and an Umbreon throwing energy into an Umbreon mirror is the least efficient that an Umbreon's energy can be in this matchup, as non-stab last resort just not going to output a lot of damage. The Frenzy Plant will connect from the Serperior, but at this point the writing's on the wall in this one. We see the switch into the Pelipper, looking for the snipe, committing the shield on that Frenzy Plant, and all that's left is the Umbreon. Pelipper going to start a deluge of water-type Weather Balls, the no shield by the Umbreon, but there's more where that came from. Another Weather Ball launched by the Pelipper. We now see the shield from the Umbreon. Umbreon trying to get the shield call right, potentially shielding the Hurricane, but Pelipper was perfectly fine with just firing off Weather Balls until the shield happened, and now it's Hurricane time. Hurricane connects. That just does too much damage. Whether he shields this move or not, the game is over. He chooses to let it go. He's going to finish it off with his own Umbreon, making it to the foul play, losing charge attack priority, but with the shield remaining, that is of little importance, as he's going to get to fire off the foul play, knocking out the Umbreon, and he has now won 17 games in a row. He now plays for the tournament sweep, and it's an Umbreon mirror once again. This time, again, keeping that Sandslash on the bench, he is going to be bringing Medicham and Serperior in the back. We've seen him play this out time and time again, and it's consistently been a highly effective strategy. Playing out the Umbreon mirror a little bit, eventually banking 100 energy, and then looking to switch out and have that Umbreon energy be more useful later on. Looks like these Umbreons may actually have identical attack stats, because in this instance, XHGP actually lost charge attack priority. And now we see Hargef, he's not throwing his energy. My guess is we're going to see another farm to 100 and then a switch out, and there it is, into the Serperior, again, demonstrating a strategy that's been highly effective, and opponents really have not had an answer for it. The Serperior save switch proving to be extremely deadly, the overfarm, the perfect mechanics, as the Frenzy Plant is fired at the Umbreon. Frenzy Plant does pick up the knockout, the Serperior being brought in by XHGP, and if you have Medicham in the back, you're definitely happy to see the Serperior here. The Aerial Ace will connect, that's not going to be enough to KO, and the Vine Whips provide very little fast move pressure in this matchup. So the Aerial Ace will connect, Hargef going for yet another Aerial Ace as well. This will not KO, but it just gets that Serperior lower and lower. In the back, it's his own Medicham, and this Medicham is going to end in a mirror in this endgame, as XHGP is down a shield, but with Psychic does have a lot of play in this matchup. Hargef, no shields, calling the Ice Punch bait. What an unbelievable call. And with that, this is looking like this could very well be over. There's so much energy on the Umbreon, and it goes everywhere. Another Ice Punch by the Medicham, and Hargef just in dominant fashion here in this endgame, firing off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be shielded up by XHGP. If he wants to, he can let this go and just win with the Umbreon. That's what he's going to do. He lets it go. He makes the Ice Punch as in comes Superior, trying to snipe. The Ice Punch knocks out Superior. And now you can just win the game with the Umbreon. Umbreon going for the last resort, and he's done it. 18-0, the perfect tournament, and what a way to end it with a 2-shield flex. All in all, this is easily one of the most impressive accomplishments in competitive Pokemon Go history. LNDS Hargef becomes the Curitiba Regional Champion of 2024 with the perfect tournament. 18 wins, 0 losses, not a single game lost, demonstrating complete dominance. And to add to that dominance, at the Latin American International Championships, a couple months later, LNDS Hargef again reigned victorious as he earned back-to-back championships. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.